My name is Ntoka Petroula and I'm a philologist of special education. I've been working in special education for 6 years. From my experience in education, I realized that students with disabilities and special education needs does not have the same opportunities like other students. Of course, in recent years, there have been made many efforts to change this condition. However, the lack of specialized teachers and professors, the lack of information and training on this issue usually leads these children and their families in frustration. So, the need of support in all sectors, social, psychological, cognitive, is now more urgent. One of the most serious problems faced by students with disabilities in our country concerns their professional future. What are they going to do when finishing school? This is the task I'm going to deal with in my PhD. So, pedagogical counseling and the vocational counseling for students with special needs and learning disabilities. Perceptions of all the involved in education and their lifelong education in diversity. Evaluation of the educational processes. The PhD purpose. The PhD's purpose is to guide and inform about the processes of the institution of educational vocational guidance in our country. Also, to inform for the perceptions of all who are involved, and we mean professors, psychologists, counselors, school directors, in the learning process and the state's attitude. The analysis of the counseling institution. Now, what's counseling? Counseling is a structured procedure of communication or conduct with a person or persons for issues that they have difficulty in manage them on their own. Issues that may concern themselves, their professions, their interpersonal relations. It constitutes a social institution that has an instant relation with the culture of the modern society. It involves many humanities and has its roots in philosophy, in religion, in art, in psychology, or in psychiatry. Educational vocational guidance. The institution of EVG has as its main goal to provide assistance to young people so as they will be able to cope with various problems associated with their educational course and their professional career. Implementation of goals. These goals can be achieved when the public school, with validity and reliability, of course, through the educational system, adopts decentralized operation models and favors participatory, cooperative, collective procedures in design, in research, in action, and in the application of educational templates. Clarification of essential terms. We will clarify the concept of self, of self-esteem, and self-perception. These are very important meanings for everyone to know. We will also analyze the concept of self by making a historical retrospective and bibliographic review, as well as the concept of self-esteem and self-perception. As teachers, we ought to know and to understand the teenager's level in relation with his intercourse with others, also his self-esteem and his self-perception. Perceptions of the involved in educational process. When we say involved, we mean all these persons I referred to before. The school directors, the psychologists, the professors. So, the goal is those who are involved in treatment to understand the professional development theories and to apply them effectively by exploring the needs of the students and by going through the counseling intervention. Presentation of the theory of skills that required from the professor or consultant in order to achieve the most effective intervention for the student. Finally, there is the necessity for the consultant to face the ethical dilemmas that arising during counseling and during the process of building a counseling relation based on the deontology code. Counseling and learning difficulties. Initially, we will analyze the meanings of learning difficulties, dyslexia, diffuse developmental disorders, autism, hearing and vision problems. We will also identify the causes and the characteristics of all these difficulties. We will refer to the basic educational approaches for the treatment of learning difficulties, dyslexia, diffuse developmental disorders, autism, hearing and vision problems. We will give definitions of disability and learning difficulties. We will also analyze the content of counseling for families with child with disability. We will define the characteristics of these families and the stages that the parents pouring until they reach the acceptance. It's very important and it's very difficult condition for the parents to accept that their child has a disability. We also will understand the role of the cooperation between school, family and experts. The vision of the professional identity. The need of vocational guidance and career counseling in young ages is the most important learning fund and life fund. We will emphasize the meaning and the role of information, the ability to search the necessary information, their evaluation and the theory of cognitive management information. We will talk about the role of education and the connection between the professional and the personal identities development. Now, the role of education. The educational system should encourage undertaking initiative, experiential learning, developing skills and personality, flexibility and creativity. Tests. Something that is necessary for the advisor and the consultant to understand is that the various tests are not going to answer in every question. It is surely a way to understand the personality, some slopes or interests, but all this can be taken into account and give a desired result only when combined with the data that apply in today's psychological status of the candidates, the today's social conjuncture, and the financial data of the family. Lifelong education of those who are involved in the learning process. The recognition of foreknowledge contributes in lifelong learning and strengthens the adult self-confidence. We will present ways and practices on how someone can identify the foreknowledge. Thank you very much. I hope to cooperate with you soon.